everyone, welcome back to my home. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lynn Wilson. I'm glad you're joining me tonight. Grab your coffee. We're going to chat. Are you still panic buying? Have you ever panicked bought items for your pantry and your stockpile? We're going to talk about it tonight. Okay, so many of us remember 2020, a year of uncertainties, a year of panic, a year of, I don't know what I'm doing in this world. The world shut down, all the rest. I don't know about you. It caught me off guard emotionally. I have always had a stockpile. I've shared my story many times as to why and how I started a stockpile. I'm not going to go into that tonight. If you're interested in me sharing that again, let me know and I'd be glad to do so. But I've always had a stockpile. I've always had a pantry. I've had a pantry full of things. But I too did panic a bit because in my lifetime, we've not had a pandemic. In my lifetime, I've not experienced anything like that. And I'm sure the same is for you, that what do we do? Are we going to be able to get food or products, or how do we feed our family? Or, you know, the store's shutting down. If they don't shut down, how do we get in? I remember waiting on one of the grocery stores, and it was a freezing cold day. And we were outside the store with our cart and a line wrapped around the building. And they were only letting in like 12 people at a time or something. It was crazy. When I think back to what we went through, it really, it does a number on your head. Even though you're like, for me as a Christian, I trust in the Lord. He'll provide my needs. I knew all that, but then there was a part of my brain that just sort of fizzled out and panicked. And I bought things that, some of the things I gave away, some of the things I had to throw out because I never used. Lesson has been learned in a really good way of what do I really use and what don't I use, and don't buy stuff just to throw it in the stockpile because you're still not going to use it even when you think you will. Only buy what you will use. So I've got some selections of things up here, and there's a story behind it, and I want to explain this. So when it comes to your pantry and stockpile, many people don't have one. I'm not the stockpile police. I'm not the pantry police. I'm not judging you whether you do or you don't have one. If you personally ask me, should you have one? The answer is yes. I will tell you this. When the pandemic hit, and I did a few refills, not a ton, but I did some refills, I had about 2 years worth of food in my house. More videos coming on this. Will I ever do that again? I won't say that I'll never do that. But where I am currently right now in my process and thinking and in life, I probably will no longer have 2 years worth of food. I probably will do a lot less than that. So what is all of this here? Okay. Where I work, I get donations occasionally for different things. Sometimes we get flour, sometimes we get cakes, sometimes we get bread, sometimes we get food. And here we got flour donations. So this is all-purpose flour. It is premium. It is bleached, enriched. Now, I'm not big on bleached flour. I like to get the unbleached flour. But it was free. It is 5 pounds of flour. So now I have 15 pounds of flour here. It expired. Best buy date was May 26th of this year. These are all going in my freezer, and they will stay in my freezer until I need them. I'm going to come back to these in a moment. Coffee filters. They were also a donation. I picked up 2 packages of coffee filters. We do cold brew, we do iced teas, we do other drip coffees occasionally, and we can use those. 2 other donations were Pennsylvania Dutch wide egg noodles. This one cracked me up because it still had the tag on it from the store. They were a donation, so I grabbed 2 of those. Now with the flour, I picked up 1. I waited a couple days. There was still more there. So I thought, okay, fair enough. The rest of the staff have had time to go through it. I picked up a second one. A week has gone by. There was another flour there. I felt fair enough. It's been there all week. I've given ample time for everybody else to rummage and take what they needed. It was left. I don't think we have a ton of bakers and people that do things homemade at work. So I picked up that. Splenda. I know some of the Splenda police will be out there. Don't use Splenda. We do use Splenda occasionally. We prefer this out of all the fake sweeteners. It's what we use. I don't use it every day. We don't use it all the time. I also like to have it for when company comes. But if you know the cost of Splenda, so this is 100 packets in each, 200 packets, free. So I got those. 2 other items. Again, I will explain in a minute. I picked up this. It's a big bag of grits. Yes. $2.88. I saved 96 cents, and I got this big bag of grits at Walmart. It is the quick cooking grits. I'm not a Southern girl from the South. It has several recipes on here, and I picked that up. I also picked up a big bag of rice, jasmine rice. It was a lot cheaper than the basmati rice, and this is 5 pounds of rice. Okay. Am I panic buying? Am I stocking my pantry and stockpile because I'm panicking? I will say this. I did watch a video recently, and I don't know whether I agree with this stuff or disagree. And depending on what part of the world you live in, and it depends on if you live in the States, what states you live in. I know things vary. Right now, they're saying in the fall, there's going to be shortages, not outages, but shortages on rice, on flour and breads, on grains, on oranges, on mayonnaise, and sugar. So I saw this, and I had picked this up prior to hearing about the shortages. I picked this up and this up prior to hearing. Now, the good thing is I have rice. We were never big on rice until I got a rice cooker, and I add tomato bouillon to it, and we are super hooked. My son loves fried rice. He'll add the scrambled eggs to it, which is great. And since the cost of eggs have gone down, this is even better. So we've been going through a lot more rice. Now, this will last me through the fall and through the winter. I still have a little bit left, not much. But this is 5 pounds of rice, and this will last me. If we're going to if we're going to have shortages on rice, that will mean rice will just go up and be a higher price. Rice right now is a fairly decent price. Everything's gone up, but rice in itself is a decent price. So do you have to get the basmati or the jasmine? No, you can get just plain old everyday rice and still pay a cheaper price for it. I happen to like this style of rice. I got this because I needed it. I'm almost out of rice, and we've been eating a lot more rice. I got the grits. This is something that I used to make, and I got out of it, and my husband really enjoys it. So every other week, I've been making a big batch, a double batch of grits, making it cheese grits, and I put it in the refrigerator, and I have been doing a lot of prep of grits and a few other things for breakfast items in the fridge. Grab and go. I can grab some and easily warm it up at work. My husband can warm it up, and I can make it ahead of time, and it's great. And we've been going through a lot of this. So this will last me for probably about 3 months. So this is good. These were free. There was plenty of them for all to take. I took the 2 boxes. This will last me a year and a day. I mean, it'll last me forever. We don't go through that much. But I'm now stocked up. I don't even have to think about this for a couple of years. We go through this. I probably go through 2 bags a month of these. And I probably have enough for another month. But they were free. There was plenty of them. I grabbed 2 more for the stockpile. Same thing with this. The flour, even though it is bleached flour, and I'll have the flour police out there, I know. I don't like to use bleached flour, but it was free. And I will say this, if there's going to be a shortage on flour, you're not going to really care whether or not you have this kind of flour or not. You're just going to want flour. I do remember during the pandemic, baking products were sparse. People were buying flour, trying to make homemade bread because you couldn't get bread. you couldn't get yeast, and so on. I am starting a sourdough starter. I know you cannot use bleached flour in that. I have plenty of all-purpose flour right now that is unbleached in my pantry and stockpile. These will go in the freezer. I probably won't even use these until the spring or the summer of next year, but they're in the freezer. They'll be fine. I can use them at that time. If for some reason I feel that I can't use them, I'll pull them out, share them with my mother or a friend. We'll be good to go. My flour dough starter, I'm starting with rye flour because that is supposed to give you the most convenient and quickest way to start a sourdough starter. And my all-purpose unbleached flour, I can also add to that, but I can use this for the base of the baking and add the sourdough to it. So am I panic buying with all this? Absolutely not. Oranges means orange juice might go up in price. Flour and grains and things, so this might go up in price. I'm stocked up. Can I stock up on orange juice? I can get the concentrated. I might put a few of those aside. They said mayonnaise is going to be a shortage on mayonnaise because eggs are getting hard. No, she didn't say are getting hard. She said have been hard to find. My area, I have to say for the most part, even when there were shortages during the pandemic, I could find what I needed. I might have had to go to 1 or 2 stores, but it wasn't like I couldn't find it. Or if I couldn't get this, I could get that. So right now, eggs, I don't know. Have you all had problems getting eggs? The prices are great. Eggs are plentiful. I have no problem with that. Right now we can go to any farm around here that in New Jersey that sells eggs. We can get them farm fresh if we needed it. But what I'm trying to tell you is don't run out and panic. If you're in need of flour and you know the price might go up and you want to get a 25-pound bag of flour and put it aside in your freezer or vacuum seal it or however you want to do it, go for it. This will last me for a very, very long time. I won't have to buy this. This will last me. This will last me. These are things that I need and I use on the regular out of my pantry. I told you I'm cutting back. I'm really eating out of my pantry, but I'm learning what do we really eat. We eat rice. We eat egg noodles. We eat grits. I'm doing more homemade baking. I'm getting into the sourdough. I will be doing more breads and English muffins and bagels and pancakes and pizza crusts and anything else that I could get my hands on, learning more about fermented foods and also how to do things with sourdough. I'm learning. I'm trying to curve and change on how we do things and how we eat. But if I can encourage you, do not panic and run out. Well, Lynn Wilson said I didn't say there are going to be shortages. I'm saying word on the street says there could be. You know what? It might not hurt to pick up a little rice and a few things like that and some flour and some sugar and just have enough to get you by for just a little bit. Outside of that, I wouldn't panic. That's just me. God has provided my needs and my family's needs for all this time. He continues to provide, as you can see. But I just wanted to share with you the word on the street, what they're saying. Do you want to consider getting a few extra things? If you're a family of 1, this would last you forever. We're a family of 3. We go through a lot of rice. So use your discretion on how much you buy. Also, you know what? Use your discretion on how much can you afford. It's not a matter of, oh, I need to get all these things. Sometimes you don't have the money to do it, and that is okay. You need to make sure you have that emergency fund, you're paying your bills, and you're staying on budget with your groceries. If you can't afford to buy extra, buy what you can, work through that. Eventually, you'll be able to do that. All right, guys, thanks for coming over tonight. Thanks for letting me have a little chat with you about panic buying. Don't do it, is my advice to you. Don't panic buy. You'll spend too much, you'll buy things you don't need, and you'll end up regretting it. Okay, we'll catch you all on the next video.